Thursday, 7 o'clock. Garnet Old, no inside info, no contacts, no problem. Vince, how are you doing on this mediocre week?
I've got 3 words for everybody. 3 words. You ready for them, Ryan?
I am.
Mediocre, midweek, and mayhem. It's been a week, Ryan.
It has been a week, but you know what? The best way you can cap off your week, maybe on this weekend, is to book a fishing charter with Captain Black's Fishing out of Panama City Beach. He has all the boats you need, all the fish
Mm,
you need, and
He
he'll take you
does.
in. And that's not mediocre fishing out there in Panama City Beach.
If you pay attention to his Facebook feed, he's been posting a lot of photos of just a complete non-mediocre haul of fish. Let's just say that.
Speaking of mediocre, in the best way possible, is
Are we going
Vince's Phillies outfit. But we'll get to that in a second. First, non-mediocre bar in Tallahassee, the Palace.
way above
Really
mediocre, Ryan?
way above mediocre environment, above mediocre owners, and Vince, tell them about the drinks they've been working on.
Yes, we've been talking about this for the last few weeks or so. It really seems like the Palace is the home base for AU vodka. AU vodka is headquartered in the UK, and they were searching for a college town to be their launching point, and they chose Tallahassee, and they chose the Palace. I've run out of the AU seltzer, which I was drinking last week, because I can't get it around here. But if you happen to go to the Palace, ask for the AU brand and say, I want an AU. I want to go for gold. You got to go for gold. And they will give it to you. And then you can also let them know Garnet and Old sent you. Palace Saloon, a tradition in Tallahassee.
A tradition unlike any other, some would say. Much like the Masters coming up. But Vince, talk about your attire first.
Oh, it's opening day. I think those of us that understand this, um, what this time of year is, get excited about opening day. I know baseball season is a long season, but I'm excited. The Phillies won today. They actually just won about 5 minutes ago, beat the Rangers 5-3. So the Phillies are my team and have been my team since I could understand the game. And that was probably 1973, 74. So I got to watch my heroes growing up as a Phillies fan, attending many games because my grandparents had season tickets on the third base side. So go
I,
Phillies, the
I
fighting
do very
Phils.
much, Vince, enjoy your mascot,
Hmm.
the Phillies mascot.
Yeah, the fanatic. He's actually the mascot upon which all other mascots are compared.
Yeah,
He kind of set the bar. So forget about your San Diego chickens and all this other nonsense. The fanatic is where it's at.
let's get into our people in the chat here. Breeze Fry's ready to go. I'm lit. Let's let's effing go. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is opening day, so I understand.
Yeah.
You start drinking at 9 a.m. You got to prep.
Breeze actually sent me a message not that long ago. He's sporting the new Madison Social gear that supported the Chiefs. So they ran a special on a shirt and a pint glass earlier this month on March the 4th, which basically said not well liked in Gainesville. And it was a fundraiser for the Chiefs, and it looks like to me Breeze got both the shirt and the pint glass, and he is making use of both.
Making the use of it. Listen, this week, Mike Norvell called this week the heavier install week. I'm not sure if that's an
Fa-
official term.
Falcon
Heavier,
heavy.
but Vince, let's dive a little bit into the mediocre talk. So, uh, let's just say there was some confusion this week. Would you call it confusion?
I would say it's I don't know. I mean, I've read all the stuff. I listened to some audio. I did all the things that a normal fan would do when things don't kind of like seem like they're not right. Um, but in this day and age, like you don't know. Like a kid could, spout those words off, and then you're having to deal with the fallout from a fan base and a social media presence that we're kind of used to these days. So there's not a lot of positivity coming out of the football side. So it was kind of like, yeah, kind of tracks, right? Kind of tracks. But as it ends up, Ryan, maybe what was presented really wasn't what was said.
So I think it's a little bit of both worlds, Vince. I think context can be lost in translation, and phrasing, and how they were, in what context they were thinking the quote and how it's written. And so, do I think that this is about Isaiah Vickers, by the way?
Yeah.
Uh, do I think he said or mentioned a mediocre practice? Yes, but and I know he's come back and said, "Hey, I wasn't calling FSU or anything they're doing mediocre." But what I took from it when I first read it before the drama got out there, like I'm talking like the first tweet when I was
Yeah.
reading the tweet from, what is it, 247, right?
Hmm.
I took it and I read it, and I wasn't even reacting in a negative way to it, because I read it as he felt the actual play on the field that he saw maybe was like an average practice. Like, yeah, just it's a practice. There was nothing that was like crazy. It was a mediocre practice. Not that he's calling the practice itself or how it's structured, how it's run, how it's happening mediocre in any way. But that, like, hey, it would be like, Vince, I show up and
It was a day.
man, it was a day. Like, I went to the practice. Maybe he saw like what he thought was like performance wise by the players, just a mediocre day, or maybe even heard, for all we know, Mike Norvell call people out on it. Hey, this isn't good enough. This is not what we need to be doing. We have to be better. This is mediocre. And then kind of just said, yeah, it was a mediocre practice based on what he saw and what he was hearing at the practice. So I read that and didn't even take it as a like a slight on the program or a slight on the practice structure. I took it as he showed up and what he saw was entirely fine, and it was a non-starter. It wasn't until people started retweeting
Hmm.
saying like, bad luck, our practices, our team is mediocre, our practices itself is mediocre. Guys, the guy was probably just commenting on kind of like maybe some of the things he saw on the field of being not like a crazy wild day. And hey, I hate to tell everyone, it's spring practice. How many schools out there do you think are having all-star performance spring practices, Vince?
Well, I don't know. Probably not many. And I kind of agree with you there. I mean, that's the first thing I thought of when it was starting to come around that, maybe he didn't say the actual word mediocre, that he just kind of indicated that it was, maybe it's a head shrug or, eh,
I don't even mind if he
those
said
kind of
it.
things. And I don't mind if he said it either, because if you think about these kids that have been going to football practice since they were old enough to play a sport, day in and day out, going to practice, it's the same old, same old. What is it about a practice that's going to like jolt someone into, effusive praise about a practice?
Right.
And, I hadn't really thought about what you just said and I started thinking about it before you actually said the words. But you're absolutely right. Maybe that practice wasn't so great, people.
Yeah.
We don't know because we're not allowed to be there. And the only thing they're going to promote outwardly is positive stuff, right? So
Yep.
maybe you're right. Maybe the coaches were like, "You guys ain't getting it done.
Yeah.
This is not going to cut it." And if you're watching that from the sideline, I mean, you're not going to come out and say, "Yeah, it was an awesome practice. I loved everything about it." And I loved how everybody was bending down so low, and I loved,
Right.
I loved, you. What are you going to say? So,
Yeah,
but the fact, but the fact that it caused that much uproar because everything that Florida State does causes an uproar, and that the outlet had to, I think they actually pulled the article. As far as I know, like they pulled the content that had that. Makes me think there was, maybe some, maybe not, overtly changing someone's words, but maybe
right.
maybe there was some taking liberty of trying to flesh it out more than what the kid actually said.
Yeah, I mean, literally, do I think it's very possible he said the word mediocre? Sure. Uh, and what I'm thinking too, in addition to maybe he saw what he considered, and maybe the coaches effused as a mediocre practice. Maybe it's a high school or college, whoever it is, whoever's visiting, it doesn't matter. Take the individual out of it. Maybe
Yeah.
they don't want to seem like, oh, it's like, oh, so you're if you're meant to be there, and you don't want to make it seem like this is over your skis or like too big for you, or man, this is like, oh, the speed was on a different level, or man, it was something that I'm gonna have to work up into. But you want to feel like you've been there before, you might say something like, yeah, it was just another practice,
Yeah.
because
Another
you're trying
body.
to seem like it's not a big, like it's not a huge spectacle for you. It's like I showed up and went to practice, and it was fine. And um, because if you go fangirl out there and be like, "Oh my goodness, let me tell you what, the speed, the competitive," then you come off across like a junior player that's not really ready for the prime time yet. So, and he even said, "I've been to a lot of practices, and they're all kind of like,
Yeah.
hmm, I've seen a
It is
bunch of them."
practice is something you have to do, right? I don't if I mean there are probably, you know, gym rats that love practice and can't wait to get out there. And I know there are players that are like that. But I think for probably the majority of the players, it's like it's just the necessary evil that we have to do. And we have to do it well, but we have to do it. So we got to get it done. And I don't think anybody is looking at practice as, some like epiphany on what a team is going to be or not be, especially in a given moment in time. The problem, of course, is that with our fan base, and the great things about it is that they're so invested, so passionate, so involved, whether it be, you know, on social media, message boards, going to games, supporting, buying the gear, whatever. It's so passionate that every little thing that happens gets like blown up, and the focus, the magnifying glass gets out of control. So much so that you've got to have now the kid's family kind of couching what went on. And it's probably a really great lesson for the kid, whether he ends up,
Yeah,
coming to Florida State or not, that, like it or not, Charles Barkley, I'm not a role model, right? Like it or not, when you're talking college football, especially in the South, fan bases are going to hang on every word, every grunt, every eye movement, every facial expression.
especially when there's no Garnet Gold game.
Right. There's no Garnet and Gold game, and there's no media actually at the practices to kind of, and hey, I'm going to say it again. We at the athletic department, the program asked for this. They asked
Yep,
for this by not allowing, some kind of access to, kind of populate the field, right? So you're not ha, had we had other content to watch or to
right,
consume, this would have been a non-issue.
right. Yeah, it's a in the vacuum of a non-news cycle in which there's very little to cling to. Anything that posts, even one small thing, it's going to blow up and go absolutely viral because people are starved for football. Because, as much as people like baseball, man, there's people out there that football is their only sport.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even pay attention to anything else. And for them, they see a quote of their team, they go, of course. And it's easy to double down when you're already pissed off about the state of the program, and maybe think that the coaching staff's a clown show or whatever you feel like is happening on the team, to say, of course, someone would say that. Haven't seen that said about any other team of any other player visiting. It had to be Florida State. Like, it's easy. I get it. It's easy to get into that headspace,
Yeah, because
and
we're
it's
focused on it.
even harder to get out of that headspace, because once you're in it, you're like, doom scrolling, and then it feeds you the more of that kind of content, right? So
Absolutely.
it's a self fulfilling prophecy. But at the end of the day, I've never, on any football season we follow, whether the media's been allowed, there's been a Garnet and Gold game. With rare occasion, have I ever walked away going, "Man, that was clean and a great, perfect uh, practice." And look at all the amazement. Maybe the Jameis spring practice, like
Sure.
where you're hearing the guys like throwing balls over entire blocks of houses, and you're like, oh, this is
Right.
exciting, right? But aside from
Right.
those rare occurrences, you're pretty much just like, oh, okay, so they lifted some weights, they gained some weight, they some people lost some weight, they did some stretching, they did some workouts, and they did some
This guy's in a
install.
boot. This guy's in a
Yeah.
boot.
Hopefully no one gets hurt, and wake me up when the fall happens. That's honestly like 99% of the time my take after spring, aside from maybe the small little adrenaline you get from just maybe in the past seeing Doak when you go into for the spring game. Other than that, within 2 days of the spring game being over, I'm like, well, when's fall again?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be different, Ryan, if, you know, a recruit went and met with all the coaches and like did the whole thing that recruit does, seeing the facilities and going to meet with coaches and whatever. And then he comes out and he goes, that was a shit show.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's different, right? So, you know, here you go. Anybody that happens to be watching the show tonight, first of all, thank you for watching the show tonight. Feel free to like and subscribe to the show. We appreciate that. It gets the name of the show out there. If you want to contribute to the show, you can do that through a super chat on YouTube, or you can Venmo us at Garnet and Old. Helps keep the lights on. But if you if you have a scenario like that where um, a kid comes out and he says something like that about something that really matters, that's different.
yeah.
That's different than a kid saying,
We're
"I
talking
went
about
to
practice.
the billionth practice I've ever been to." And by the way, quote me on this, everybody. Go out and run with this. Garnet and Old says that practice was mediocre. Just
Would it
say it.
change
Go say it.
anything? No.
It doesn't change anything
Yeah,
because practices are mediocre.
yeah.
They
It's
just
practice. Free
are.
practices are always mediocre. That's just the state of the any team, because they've got new players that don't know what they're doing. They got people that are out and hurt because they are still injured from the previous season. Yeah, you're going to have a whole lot of missing bodies and install problems and
And who's that
yelling.
guy?
And
What number is that?
I mean, if you really want to poke holes in a quote, instead of focusing in on the mediocre quote, the only thing I've rolled my eyes at all week is Mike Norvell saying the defense had a good response this week, and yeah, that will make me roll my eyes just seeing the word respond or response. After a quiet week, they had a good response. Like, I've heard that every single practice for about whatever group.
Sure.
But
Matter
the
matter of fact,
positive,
I have told Claude and Chat GPT and Perplexity and Gemini to not use the word respond at all in any of the stuff that it gives me.
yeah. I mean, we did hear one. I would say the only like notable. It's like Andrew, like Otto has kind of become like the vocal guy in the
Yeah,
group.
I like that.
Yeah, sure. But nothing in spring has ever like jazzed me up where I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. Um, I mean, the
Yeah,
only thing we have to look forward to is maybe some nuggets that come out of the first scrimmage, which is in 2 days.
yeah, it's
Um,
on Saturday. Yep.
yeah, I like to hear, like, according to insiders, that were watching the scrimmage, so and so had a nice day. I do like that from what we've been hearing that Sperry isn't, still very much competing,
Hmm.
which of course, because I don't think they're not gonna name a starter in the spring by the end of
No,
spring. We're going to find that out a week before the first game of the season in the fall, like we always do. Even when we have like a penciled in starter that we all know is likely to start, we always get the yeah, it's still neck and neck. Both guys are competing, which is
mhm.
exactly what you want. I want to see who will respond this week.
Competition breeds
Yeah,
excellence.
iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
But
so I
again,
mean,
Brian, before we move on, we asked, and we didn't ask for this, but the program asked for this kind of focal magnifying glass by not letting anything else happen in terms of Garnet and Gold game, booster tours, letting
yeah,
media out there to do. They've brought it on themselves that every little thing is going to be like a crucifixion.
yeah.
Anyway,
I did appreciate the social media team tweeting out that pass from Sperry to Tariq Mallory, I think it was. Now, I listen. I think that the it was probably one of the highlights, maybe a few of the week. So it's like, of course, I think the social media team, by the way, is always filming. It's just they don't always put everything out. And when they see a really exciting throw, and maybe Norvell's trying to create a little juice and keep the competition red hot, uh, you might throw in a little nugget towards your other quarterback and saying, look at Sperry out here throwing
hmm
touchdowns." It was a good pass, but again, we're talking about practice here, guys, not a
yeah.
game.
A couple more people here in the chat, Ryan. Let's shout them out. Spartan Knoll. Oh, he's right on your heels, Ryan. Just renewed my season tickets, section 137, row 25, seats 10 and 12. He's going to be at the SMU game. If anyone is nearby, say aloha. I will definitely come scope you out there and come meet you in person because I don't think I'm too far from there myself. So congratulations on getting the season ticks. I don't know if you made it before the deadline or after the deadline, but welcome. Ryan got in under the wire last week, right, Ryan?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. One thing I do want to pull up too
Oops, sorry.
is Breeze Fry.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, I'm gonna just
Oh,
look up Cobbtown, Georgia,
it's mandate.
and you can look up lunch only, no dinner though. You know that's the mandate rules. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
that's right.
Um,
That's right.
but yeah, no. Look how far Cobbtown is on your local Google Maps, and let me know. Maybe do it one weekend when Vince is visiting his daughter, and then we can
George
all get
Southern, yeah,
together.
we could all get together. It'd be fun. Yeah.
Gotta.
RT Strider, I don't read anything. I did, but reading any headlines while the current coaching staff administration is running the show feels like inviting too many invitations to get kicked in the no-nos. Yeah, I mean, you got to read stuff with a jaundiced eye, right? You do. When the media was able to attend practice, they were able, there were some things that were off limits that they weren't allowed to talk about, right? And but they were allowed to, you know, express concerns, as long as it wasn't, specifically detail about plays and whatnot. So, we're not getting any of that. And so the only thing you're getting, of course, is from the propaganda machine, which is fine. That's what they're supposed to do. But for a fan base that's already like doesn't trust, no one's going to look at that stuff with anything other than like, yeah, of course you're going to post that.
Yeah. I mean, to the trust quote, Vince. Uh, Even if we beat Georgia in the early part of the season, I'm still gonna be like, prove it to me again. Yeah, after that Alabama win last year, I'm
Oh, that was
literally
a great
I'll
game.
walk out of that Georgia game. I'll do a fist pump. Me and Vince will do a post game. We'll say that was a good individual performance game. That was awesome. I'm glad we won that one game. Uh, I have no idea what the rest of the season holds. I'm making zero predictions. I hope we can beat whatever. I forget what the team we play after that, but let's hope
We're
we
not
can
playing
win next week.
Georgia, are we?
Not to
Bama.
Alabama. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like
Yeah.
Alabama. We'll walk out of that game and I'll go, good individual win. I'm glad that was a 1
Yes.
week win.
Yes, I'm going to consider, and we should all do this. We should all consider every week in and of itself, and not project any kind of, you know, unbelievable predictions about what the season's going to be. That team that beat Bama last year was inspired and well coached, and it was first game of the season, right? So that helped, and it was a great, it was the best, it was the best memory of the season. Loved it. And then most of the rest of the season was forgettable.
Yeah.
So
No, and I remember how that felt. By the way, little snippet, Vince, of EA Sports College Football 27 news.
mm,
In College Football 27, you'll be able to trigger in big games uh, field surges where your fans storm the field after a
and run
big,
over a player.
yeah, and storm the field, and your
Hey, I have
team
a
is celebrating with selfies out on the 50-yard line and everything.
I have a question. If your team starts to play really poorly, can you take on the guise of a fan looking for cheap tickets in the sideline club?
Yeah, I think so. And in fact, I've always had this idea, and I thought it would be fun because they've always done like dynamic weather, dynamic this, dynamic that, and they in the past in the older games they had dynamic attendance where like if you were getting blown out in the third quarter and you were at home, like your crowd will start to like dwindle. But I actually, I'm gonna not that any EA Sports developers watch the show, maybe one.
Maybe.
Um, there should be a pop up menu, like use a hotkey or like a click in on one of the sticks and bring up a little side menu. And there should be like game atmosphere or experience triggers that you can trigger um, less fans to just start leaving or get louder or
Mhm.
you know someone gets like too rowdy and sprints across the field. It would be fun if they triggered like that kind of granular controls because you could be like you could set up storylines in your head like you're down I 20 and I trigger like the crowd start disperses and then you come back to win. Like I would like to. It would be fun to have control on that kind of level on
Yeah.
on the experience.
Think about that. Like say you have that ability to maybe um cash in some chips
Yeah,
to get the crowd going, and maybe that is, it takes away some of the
yeah,
energy of your star player in order to do that. Like, are you willing to sacrifice that to get the crowd pumped up to do a momentum shift? By the way, EA Sports, let's just 7/29 on Thursday, March 26th. Let's just put that in the hopper as the idea that came from Garnet and Old. We do not expect royalties, but we do expect a free copy of the game every season.
exactly. And you know me, I'm waiting for the trailer. By the way, usually drops around in the next month or two for the next game.
Look at this from RT Strider. Pull that one up.
There's a bunch. I see
No, the
it.
one, that one. Oh man, I could see a good clause in the field rushing. If your team injures someone, could the game pull NIL money from the home team? That's right. That's right. You could start
Or
affecting people's budgets.
or if your team storms the field, maybe it takes some momentum away. Like you're overzealous for the next week, and your team has like negative 10% motivation, and the next following weekend you actually lose the next game, maybe the
Hmm.
next
Yeah.
six.
Yeah. Because in the real world, you lose a game, and they always say, don't let one game become two. That's a real thing.
You have to respond.
Ryan, come on now.
You got to use this,
Um,
Vince.
so, on the flip side of the mediocre thing, they had another recruit say um, that it was amazing. Like he couldn't describe it. So Israel Adams, who was a quarterback recruit, I believe, visited, and the energy was there with him. So again, are you going to spend all your time dwelling on the negative of the mediocre, or are you going to look at this, the kid that's rated in the top 5 of the quarterbacks that had a great time? and had nothing but great things to say. And I know the answer to that. And the answer to that is, as human beings, especially in this day and age, we tend to dwell on the negative.
Yeah, and it's funny because like if I was a recruit, I would definitely be kissing the ass of all these teams. And be like, it was the greatest practice I've ever been to. And the next team I went to, I'd be like, man, I just when I thought it couldn't get any better, you know,
So keep
I,
up in the ante.
yeah, keep up in the ante until letting no one have any idea of where I stood on whatever team I was visiting that week. Absolutely none at all. Um, it all comes back to one thing, Vince, and that is if you win this year, the noise will go away. If you don't win this year, your coach will be gone, and then we'll get a new start. Those are the only two options that happen here. And so the cool thing is, we're going to have some sense of finality, I hope, at the end of this season. Of
Oh,
it's either
oh
one or
no
the
doubt.
other. Either, man, wow, look at that. That was a 9-win season. Can you believe it? I never thought it was going to happen. Or, yep, Mike's fired.
There are people that believe he's got 2 more years regardless.
Oh, come on, man. Okay. Well, there are people for everything. There's people that believe in everything, Vince. In fact, are aliens real?
Yes, apparently aliens are real, because the government decided to purchase or to set up the domain of aliens.gov. So, what does that tell you, Ryan?
That means we're going to get a blurred photos, old blacked out documents from dating back all the way, but nothing brand new, nothing the recent history,
But
and
on a
a
.gov site.
but on a like yeah, there's something out there, which is exactly what we've been told already in the Senate hearings. So uh, yeah, I think it's going to be a whole lot of like an Epstein list situation. We'll get a little, but we're not going to ever get it. It's and by the way, this is a method in the X Files. I don't know if you remember that. Did you watch the X Files when you were younger?
Well, I did, and I have a little. Remind me about the X Files a little later.
One of the things in the X Files, you remember the character Deep Throat,
Oh yeah,
which is an unfortunate name. Um, that character says that sometimes they do release stuff, but not everything, to discredit that there's anything more. So it's the idea
sure.
of, hey, this is all we're going to give you what we know. It's crazy. There are some weird things out here, things we can't explain, and we're going to show you this is everything. And that isn't that crazy? And then you'll leave us alone because we gave you a little.
He gave you something. Yeah,
But we're not giving you the big kahuna. We're not giving you the Mac Daddy. So I don't think it'll be anything more than we've already seen on unofficial sites. It'll just be all organized and definitely on the homepage at the very bottom will be signed your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, or something like that. Like, I finally did it. You wanted it, and I gave it to you. No one else, not Obama, not Clinton, only me could have released such amazing information. And you're going to get that kind of like,
yeah,
look at me moment. At some point on
yeah,
that site, there will be a signature.
yeah. There will be, and you'll be able to buy a non
Trump
fungible
phone.
token about an alien or something like that.
Now sign up for
Um,
Trump Mobile, please, somebody. We
it's
love
too
Trump
funny.
Mobile.
We do. Um, yeah. So, by the way, Ryan, we need to do another aliens episode. We haven't done one in a long time, so
Well,
that'd be
can
fun.
I tell you what? When I want to do it,
Sure.
I want to do it on June in the middle of June
Well, you're very specific.
because the Steven Spielberg film Disclosure Day
Oh, yeah.
comes out
That
in
sounds
June. Now,
good. Yeah, let's
many
do it.
people know this about me, but I think I've told you that Steven Spielberg, top three directors for me. I love Spielberg films. I've loved all his films, even like the ones that were like Ready Player One, entirely
Yeah.
slop, but still enjoyable. So when Steven Spielberg makes a Disclosure Day uh, movie with government cover-ups and disclosure as the main topic, I'm in. You didn't have to tell me anything else. You could have not showed me that trailer, even though the trailer was good, and
Yeah.
I would have been in. So let's do it around that time because that'll be a good talking
Sounds
point.
good. That sounds good. There might be some actual content on the website by that point. And I will try to watch that documentary as well that came out not that long ago on
I
Netflix.
watched
Was it
it. It
on
was good.
Netflix
He
or
was
on
on
Prime?
Hulu or Prime. No, it was on
Hulu.
Prime. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Age of
so,
Disclosure is what it's called.
yeah. So, speaking of disclosing, once again, the FSU baseball team disclosed the fact that they can't catch up to Florida pitching. I was at that game Tuesday night here in Jacksonville. And by the way, Monday, beautiful day, Ryan. Blue skies, warming up. My pool is looking very inviting.
Mm.
Tuesday happens, and we're at the ballpark down here in Jacksonville, and it's just this whipping, misting rain, and it's like 55 degrees, and it's like it's so bad. There were a couple times during the game where there was a hit to the outfield, and both the teams could not find the ball.
Hmm.
So we ended up leaving right at the beginning of the eighth inning, I think it was. Um, Florida State was not doing anything uh, at the plate. Had a couple miscues in the field as well, and then tried to leg out a triple or two that actually cost them an out because then they got thrown out. But man, this is the second game in a row now where Florida's got arms. There's no doubt about it. And for a midweek game, Florida State, I always say like midweek games, who cares about the midweek games? I do. Um, because you're playing your rivals often that are not in your league, right?
Yeah.
And um, but usually in your midweek games, you are tinkering and having guys play that maybe need a little playing time, because you haven't seen too much of them. Maybe they're coming back from an injury, what have you. Florida's very deep on the mound, and guys are throwing 97, 98 miles an hour
Sure.
Tuesday night. And they, the Noles could not get the bat on the ball. It was very frustrating. Um, and ended up losing 5-0. So Florida takes the series. They have one more game. It's going to be in Tally. I'm not sure when it is, but it just was very frustrating to see them not compete as far as putting the ball in play.
Yeah. Now the weather has been the spring has sprung, Vince.
Yeah.
The temps have been going up. So is your pool ready to swim temperature wise? Is it ready?
No, the pool is probably about 71, Ryan.
You could
It's too
argue.
cold.
You could argue that's ready.
Well, I mean, I'm not a 7-year-old kid, so I am not going in that pool, Ryan.
Yeah, it's like you're not like because there's always that person who'll say, "Well, it's still warmer than spring water," and you'll be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, that's true, but it's not a spring. Um, it's actually a pool. So like, I would like it to be like pool temperature." Um, you got about what, another month?
Yeah, if it starts to warm up, it can happen fast, right? Because that
Yeah,
sun, like
sure.
I don't have a cage, so the sun is beating on the pool, like 7, 10 hours a day. So my pool warms up very quickly. So it only takes, a week or so of that kind of temperature to get it to a point where I will get in it. Now the pool is crystal clear. I'm running the vacuum all the time. I've got these ducks, Ryan, that keep coming in the pool because, like I said, I don't have a cage. So I'm constantly shooing the ducks out. It's not too cold for the
Yeah,
ducks, but I'm constantly vacuuming the pool because when it hits that temperature, man, it is going to be bombs away, cannonball, VC Knoll from the top rope. Can't
now
wait.
you have to explain to me, Vince, because on the ship you're not a big pool guy.
I mean, I'm not necessarily not a pool. It's very different, right? On a cruise ship, it's like it's like people soup, right? So now I don't mind a hot tub. Hot tubs are nice because it's kind of
Yeah,
you know um, small group of people there. Usually, I'll get in the pool if we're on a port day and I'm not getting off the ship for that. I'm just going to stick around and get a larger run of the pool. So it's not like I don't enjoy the pool. It's just that most of the time it's just way too crowded,
Yeah, so it's more you don't want to swim around in a pool of someone sick, um, as it
so
were.
to speak. Yeah, so to speak. Um, so yeah, so Tuesday night was sickening. 16 strikeouts. What was it? Something like that. And yeah, so I mean, it was just a midweek mediocre, Ryan. Midweek mediocre. But it was fun to be there, and I do enjoy the fact that they play that game once a year in Jacksonville. It's fun.
Yeah,
It's a split crowd, and it's usually a good time. So keep
I
it
do
up.
want to put
I do enjoy
do
going.
want to put this comment up from Strider. His The glass display was made by his great grandfather in the
Oh,
Pensacola NAS museum.
well, we need to do that.
Only 7 ever made. Now, did Strider? Did he make all 7, or did he make the
Interesting.
glass
No,
of the
he's saying he
display?
made that sheet metal mask. He's talking about the mask that in the glass display is what
Is
he
your
created.
dad, a great grandfather, also Tony Stark? That's what I'm feeling from this.
Yeah, his mask. Oh, he's saying his mask is there.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, cool. Don't forget, everybody, hit like if you do not mind. It's free. Hitting the like. Subscribe also is
yeah.
free. And if you want to contribute monetarily to the program, we appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. You can super chat us, or you can Venmo us at Garnet and Old. Um, we'd appreciate that, and it helps the
Yeah.
show.
Vince, tell the
Um,
people where the show will be live from next week.
so rumor has it, Ryan, that both you and I will be in the Tampa St. Petersburg area
Hmm.
next week. Ryan and I are going. Ryan and I are working together again. The band is back together. I have seen in the last 2 weeks. I have joined Ryan at the company where he's at, and so Ryan and I are back in the fold together. We are both going to a corporate event next week in Tampa. So we will be doing the show live from what's the hotel, Ryan?
Marriott West Shore, Tampa. Now, could that location change? Might it be like a certain area? Maybe there's a nice outdoor area. There's a lot of options we have, and we're going to be doing it with our laptops and everything. So maybe a little lower tech, but
Little production problems, yeah.
yeah, I think it should be fine
Think
speed
cruise ship
wise.
show.
I think better
Yeah.
than that because it's 5G plus down there, full bars in that area. So it's near the airport. So I think
Right.
speed will not be an issue.
And I probably will not have had 18 Miami Vices by that point.
Maybe one. The good news is there. Oh, Vince, there is a hotel bar,
No
and
kidding.
yeah, and maybe we could belly up to the bar and do a show in there. Though, you know, it might be a little too noisy, but maybe we grab a tall boy from the bar and then take that to a location and enjoy a tall boy on the show. Which, Vince, this will be your first corporate event with this company. There is no shortage of those that after, if it's a company day, heading to the hotel bar. It's pretty
No, I'm
frequent.
looking forward to that. Obviously, I'm gonna keep it on the down low in my first, effort there. But if anybody is in the Tampa area and just wants to come and say hi, we'll be at the Marriott West Shore doing the show or somewhere in the
Yeah.
vicinity. Um,
Last
and
office get together.
Ryan will buy you a drink.
Yeah, keep it together, Vince. Because the last company event, there might have been a younger sales member or two in the sales team that might have morning after been throwing up in the hallway of the hotel.
Oh yeah, that
Not
ain't
a
gonna
great,
a
awesome.
puddle of his own sick.
Yeah, not a great look for a company event. So but here it's a good lesson to learn as a young person because that's a rookie move. That's a first holiday party at 25 years old, all you can drink, right? That's that move. We've seen it. We've seen it plenty of times. But what you got to do is you got to regulate at company events. You enjoy
Oh
the,
man.
the the paid liquor and the alcohol that's provided by the company, but then about 3 drinks in, you're like, I think I'm done.
No, you're like, then you're here.
Yeah, you just sip on something.
Yeah. And that is something that you learn, well, most people learn as the wisdom of years, you know, as you accumulate the wisdom of years. Some people never
Mhm.
learn that, Ryan.
Yeah,
We've we
there's
and we
frequent offenders. Yeah.
we have known people that have never learned that. One thing you
Yep.
should learn, everybody, is that the FSU softball team is fantastic, and they do not get enough love or pub. I know Florida State fans in general. If you're just a football fan, I get it because that's drives the train. But if you're not following the softball team, like you're missing out, and they are just really a really good team. And
Yeah.
Isa Torres, who just broke the record for consecutive hits last week, has just been phenomenal to watch. And they are currently on, what is it, an 18 game win streak, 29-4 overall, 6-0 in the conference. And yeah, and so they're on, if you have the ESPN package like I do, we talked about this last fall where I got the whole ESPN Disney bundle thing.
Yeah.
You can watch every game. You can watch every game, and they are very, very good. So congratulations to them. I know the Chiefs were out there playing for their game on Tuesday night, and the Chiefs will actually be at the baseball game, I think, Friday night against Duke. So the baseball team is playing Duke this weekend, and I think the Chiefs are going to be there doing baseball band Friday evening.
Fantastic. Vince, I want to talk about the uh the nerd event you went to. Now, I say that lovingly as a nerd. I am a nerd.
Yeah, don't pull it up
Uh
yet till we're ready.
no, no, I'm not pulling it up. So here's the thing, Vince. I want to give you a little kind of rundown. So, um I love the idea of dressing up for events and cons.
Yeah.
However, the way I would be able to do it would either be pick a character that just happened, like if I went as like a Kevin Malone, easy. I buy a suit, I grow
Sure.
my hair out and shave the top, and
Yeah.
I kind of say, yeah, nice, and walk around and do a
Yeah,
Kevin. That's
right.
easy. But the people you see go
Double it.
hard, yeah, double it all in. Uh, I was in the World Series of Poker 3 times. So, but the people that go all in, which by the way, growing up, my older brother was one of those people who he would sometimes spend entire paychecks
On
on
costumes.
a costume. I'm not there, and so I don't want to go up there in like a B minus or a C minus version of, and then someone walks by, I'm like, look at that guy. That guy looks like it. I don't look anything like it now. Thanks a lot. So I would go to a con event and just enjoy and walk around as a normal person in cargo shorts and a t-shirt. But
Mhm.
Vince,
Let me
it
so
thrills
let
me
me
that you're not.
yeah, so let me set the stage. And that is that MegaCon and all these cons, you run the gambit. You get people that are just going there in their normal clothes, and then you get people that will just go in like a t-shirt, like a Batman emblem, right? And then you'll get people that, bought their costumes online, right? And you'll get people that, went all in and kind of
Made
built
it.
like made their own costume and from not just fabric, like 3D printing stuff and body paint and all this other stuff. So Ryan, it doesn't matter, you can do it all. You can do whatever fits your budget and fits what you want to do. So I had never gone to one of these, and my daughter, who is an aspiring film writer,
Hmm.
and a great writer, by the way. I know I'm biased, but I'm also intelligent. She's a very good writer. Um, so she's been involved with this whole thing for a long time, so much so that she and her group of friends, they go every year and they go every day. So it's a 4-day thing, and they have a different costume group, like a group costume for every day, depending on what fandoms they're trying to, display. And sometimes they have multiple costumes for a singular day, and they actually make their costumes. So, um, so a couple years ago, I had said to her, I said, maybe I should go check one of these out because she was telling me things I thought this sounds really neat. Dad, you should go. So a couple years ago, I decided to go, and I decided to pick a fandom that is near and dear to my heart, but also has a character in it that I can pull off, Ryan.
Yeah.
So here it is. Because some people have been asking me about this. They wanted to know. So there you go.
Boom. Now
I
you
for the
come by some of the costume naturally.
I do. Like the hair, that's what I'm saying. I can pull off Captain Picard because I don't have much hair, if any at all. And so that's great. And Star Trek stuff is easy to come by in terms of like, shirts and that kind of stuff because it's a very popular franchise that you don't have to necessarily make your stuff. So for the last 3 years, I have done different versions of Picard. And I'll just tell you, Ryan, like the first year I did it, I was completely floored. It was the first time I'd ever gone. And and I was completely floored because you're seeing all these celebrities there, and you get to listen to them talk about being on the shows and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but if you have a decent enough costume, other patrons, other participants want to take your photo and they want to take photos with you. Right. So I was not expecting this. So that first year I had, 10, 12 people want to take a photo with me because of my Picard outfit. And it was the typical next generation outfit. Right. So in this picture, what you're seeing here is me as Picard, as Admiral Picard from Star Trek Picard season 2. And we're getting real nerdy here.
Yep.
And my wife there. So this is the first time my wife has gone. And um I tried, I was trying to talk her into going. She would have a good time because she appreciates, TV shows and all that kind of stuff. So she decided her costume was going to be beauty school dropout from Greece. Let me just tell you, there was about 12 people that wanted to take her photo with her because her costume was so unique. And my mother-in-law there is a pink lady, and my father-in-law has actually got a T-shirt on. It's Pink Floyd, but it's Floyd from the Andy Griffith Show, and it's just pink. And then my daughter there is the one that kind of got us all involved with this. I can't remember which costume she's wearing. It was one of the many that she wore that weekend.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is us as we're leaving the venue on Saturday. Oh, Ryan, hold the fort down for one moment while I go get something to show.
Awesome. I hope Vince is changing into his Star Trek outfit. Um, Probably one of the very few, not disagreement points, but he would. I'm only saying this because he's not on camera to defend it, but I am more of a Star Wars guy than a Star Trek fan. I like Star Trek, okay, depending on the series, but definitely more of a Star Wars guy on this end. But I'm going to say this while his screen is blank and while he hopefully can't hear me. That way I don't get banned from the show going forward. But yeah, I'll take Luke Skywalker over Picard. But he doesn't need to know that. Oh, hey,
You
he's
would be
back.
wrong about that. And Luke Skywalker, I love Luke Skywalker. I prefer Star Trek to Star Wars. I do. But I love Star Wars too. So, in addition to all the panels and things that go on, there's this whole vendor floor where you can buy pretty much anything you want about the fandoms that you like. But there's also this artist area. And so we got this sketchbook from Bill Morrison, who is one of
Yeah,
the artists for Futurama, The Simpsons, all that stuff. And we got this sketchbook. It's got a number of his sketches in it, right? And the great thing about this is he's a friend of our family. And so that's pretty cool. So if you've never
that was
been to
very
a
cool.
con, if you've never been to a con, it's very fun. Is it geeky? Yeah. But you know what? That's all right. And I enjoy it.
I am it's funny because usually people are like very like either you're all the way in the nerd culture or you're like a sports guy. So me and you both, Vince, are we got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We like some
Yeah,
nerdy things.
straddle the
We like
fence.
yeah, we like some proper men things, as it were. And I like having that blend because depending on the time of year, I can kind of rely on other hobbies and other things I'm interested in. I know it's not your cup of tea, Vince, but in 2 nights, Kristen and I finished. There's a new Disney Plus Marvel series called Wonder Man, starring Sir Kingsley.
Yeah, I've
Fantastic
heard it.
show.
Or I've heard of it. Yeah.
Fantastic show. I love Ben Kingsley and anything he's in, and he plays a recurring character in the Marvel universe. I think this is like his ninth appearance in the Marvel universe, and he's always fabulous. So, if you guys are Marvel fans out there, highly recommend Wonder Man. It is a very very nice and easy to watch show. You don't have to be too serious or too pay attention. You can just watch it. Um, all leading up to Vince. There's been a couple other nerd things this week. Harry Potter trailer.
Saw that.
Very excited. I've been waiting for this for a long time because for those of you who don't know, HBO is doing Harry Potter, the
Hmm.
books, and every season, from what's been reported, will be 6 1 hour long episodes covering one book, which means you'll get 3 times the content of what the movies were with updated CG and better
Yeah.
lighting and HDR and all that kind of stuff. So some of the things in the early Harry Potter films, you're like the Quidditch, you're like okay, the troll, looks a little rough nowadays. But what I'm excited about is some of the actors, Vince, in the new show have already done the audiobooks, and I have quite enjoyed their audio performance because we've been
Hmm.
listening to the audiobooks, including the girl who plays Hermione in the show is the voice of Hermione in the audiobook too.
Oh, nice.
Um, so there's a lot of nostalgia there for me. Obviously, I grew up right there in the perfect age group for Harry Potter. But also, I'm a big fan if you can take a book and flesh it out properly because there's so many things missing in the Harry Potter movies that were like entire characters, entire arcs that were just not in the original
Yeah.
movies because you only had 2 hours to tell a story. So, really excited about it. Like pretty much all the cast that has been announced, and they nailed the kids on the casting, like perfect casting. So, and it's all, I was thinking they were going to say at the end of the trailer like winter 27. I'm gonna be like, oh fantastic, well remind me when it's 2 years from now. But the fact that they said December, I think it was December of 26, I'm like, okay, perfect, not that far away. We got House of the Dragon coming back this summer. uh we have the Spider-Man trailer came out this week. We got the
Hmm.
Avengers at the end of the year. It's gonna be a good nerd for nerds out there. Unite,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good
absolutely.
year.
Absolutely. And if anybody's looking to do some Star Trek stuff, I am available to do Picard. You don't even have to get me the costume. I'm ready. I've got it all. So I'm ready and willing and able. I even can get the accent down if you need me to. So,
Perfect. Well guys, it's been a good show. We'll be live from Tampa next week. Garnet Old in the Tampa Bay area, right near the airport, and going to do the show live for the best as we best we can from the cellular connection. But just like next week, this week had no inside info, no context, and no problem. And guys, thank you to our sponsor, Captain Black's Fishing and the Palace Saloon. You guys are the reason we're able to stay afloat and to have drinks on game day and to have potential parking spots on game day. There's a lot of and friendships for life.
no doubt. No doubt. It's amazing how many people that we've met, Ryan, due to this show that
Yeah,
we would have not known, and great people, good-hearted people, hardcore Noles, got their minds on straight, most of them,
yeah,
and yeah, it's just been a blessing. This show's been a complete blessing for us. We love doing it, regardless of how good the team is doing, right? So we love doing it.
yeah.
Go Noles,
Go Knowles and send Chiefs all the damn time. See you guys
indeed.
next. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys. Bye.